everyone, Mango7Roll here. How are we doing today? It is that time again. It is Weaver time this time. We've only got 3 more classes to go for my 60 to 70 guide. If you're waiting for one in specific, you really can just honestly take the information from one guide and apply it to the other one just with your head. You know, that's all these are me going through the exact same thing every single time, but I've got to do it because people ask. And if people ask, it's what I want to help you guys with. So there's that. So, weaving. I thought leatherworking was bad, and it turns out weaving's also pretty terrible too. Not many good options I found, and especially until you hit 64, it's all pretty atrocious. I remember when I did my 60 to 64 weaving, I just did an absolute metric ton of blood hempen yarn. I don't know if I still have it actually. Let me check here. Do I still have it? No, I must have sold it all. So yeah, I just made, just to give you an idea of what I did, I made like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of blood hempen yarn, and that is it. I did nothing else. So let's get into what I think you maybe should do instead. Also, to start things off, your Grand Company turn-ins are the absolute best. Hit Control U there, next mission allowance, and then you'll see them all right here. These are the best way to get XP for the most part. Sometimes they're difficult, but most of the time they're such good value. And you get seals back too, and seals are great for ventures and all that sort of thing as well. So keep in mind to keep doing that. Always do your quests as well. And right now, 60 to 61 has always been the hardest for every class. Simply because unless you have ironworks or something similar, you're going to have a rough time. So what I recommend to get from 60 to 61 is honestly just to spam blood hempen yarn the whole level. That's it. Do literally nothing but blood hempen yarn all the way from 60 to 61. Pop an engineering manual if you have it. It'll double your XP. But otherwise, just spam this. Blood hemp is so cheap on my server that it's just no real better option. And lightning crystals aren't the most expensive either. So, as always, let's get into the main 3 ways you can do your leveling. We're going to start off with Leves this time. Let's switch over to the spreadsheet. And again, as always, the spreadsheet is in the bottom. I also forgot to close my tabs, so you guys get a little peek at my internet history right now. So we are on Weaver. Let's look at the optimal usage. Again, this is not what I recommend, but it's right here. This is the least amount of leaves used. But as you can see, the difference between the least amount of leaves used and the one I essentially recommend is only 2 leaves. So really no reason to do the top one, in my opinion. So these are the options right now. 60 to 64 is just pretty bad. Arm guards of scouting, there are just so many mats, it's just not the best. So I'm going to change my recommendation from what's on here. And we'll go through that when we get back into the game. Kudzu thread is absolutely amazing though. If you have botany, it's just the absolute perfect thing to do. And if you don't have botany, they're still pretty cheap. You can grind these too. And it's okay to not HQ everyone. Keep that in mind. I say that I can't even stress how many times I have to say this, but it is okay to not HQ every single craft. You're not going to do it until you're higher level than the craft. So yeah, fantastic leveling there, and that's the saving grace of Weaver, is really the 64 to 70 grind. As for the collectibles, there weren't any good ones. I'll go through the ones I have today, but let's just say they're not good at all. We also have the build your own kit section, and again, if you've seen these videos before, it's literally the same every time, but I've got to say it just in case people only watch this one. The build your own kit, if you want to kind of change these up, do whatever way you want to do it, and select which leaves you want to turn in, go to File at the top and make a copy. If that file, make a copy, isn't there, you want to find the original link of the spreadsheet below in the description and copy and paste that into a new window. Don't just refresh the page, and eventually it'll show up. It has something to do with too many users on the page at once. So let's get back into the game here, and let's look at my collectible options, just because, honestly, they're just so terrible. I think I searched them already. So Ruby Cotton Bottoms. This is the first one, or is the second one that would have popped up for me. And as you can see, it takes 3 cotton cloth, a Gyuki letter, a yarn, and a nugget. Just like, not a good time. It also takes wind crystals, which are the most expensive right now. And you don't even get too much XP for it, so there really isn't any point to grinding this collectible. You're better off just grinding Ruby Cotton, or not Ruby Cotton, blood hemp and yarn or something like that, or even ruby cotton if you want. You can probably grind it and sell it for more than what you paid for, depending on the time of day and server. Let's look at blood hemp and braze. This is the first one that opens up. And as you can see, not very good. You don't want to use something that takes, what, 10 yarn? That's just not cool. So, again, this is why you don't do collectibles so far on weaving either. I found leatherworking and weaving just are absolutely abominations when it comes to collectibles. Even script grinding at 70, they're just so bad at it. I really, really, really recommend against those for any sort of collectible thing. But let's look at another just in case here. Let's look at Kudzu Hat of Healing. I haven't looked at this one yet. But as you can see, 2 cloths, a nugget, a yarn, and a residue of mine. So collectibles just aren't an option. If you're going to grind outside of Leves for weaving, I would do the simple fill out your crafting log and or just grind one mat over and over and over again until you hate your life. But that's crafting for you. So let's look at Leves. And we have also, just as a side note, I actually pretty much like the script gear for weaving. I'm gonna dye it, but I haven't figured out what color to dye it yet. But I really, really, really like it. Back into the thing here. For the first tier of Leves, you don't have any good options. The triple turn-in is the blood hempen arm guards of scouting. We're gonna do the typos today, are we? And not that bad, you know. Like, it could be way worse and it could be way better, but it's about average, and average is about what you're gonna get for weaving. So this is a pretty solid choice, but I would still just grind blood hemp and yarn until 62, and maybe blood hemp and cloth too if you want to use some of your yarn. The other options are about the same, but less XP, but they do take 1 turn in instead of 3, so maybe you want to do that instead if you don't value your Leves as much. And the next one, I'm going to go against what I usually go. Usually I recommend the triple turn-ins. Let's look at that one first. Cotton Gaskins of Striking. I did it right the first time. So as you can see, this is way too many mats for a Leve turn-in, especially a triple turn-in. So I'm going to go against my usual recommendations, and let's look at the single turn-in ruby cotton cloth. So this is a fantastic one to do, not only because you can grind off ruby cotton yarn, and if you have a botanist, you can go grab it. I think it's in the Ruby Sea underwater. Really weird to use botany underwater, just as a side note. But another really good one you can grind, and you can do this all the way up to 64, where you have a fantastic triple turn-in of kudzu thread. And it's a thread, it's not even a yarn, so just amazing, like absolutely amazing. My recommendation here is to grind to about 65 off of kudzu thread, and then do a bunch of turn-ins, and then grind again all the way up to 70. Just whenever anything takes the base mat, when it's a nugget, it's a leather, it's a thread, it's a lumber, something like that, and it's a triple turn-in, you can't beat that. It's 1.5 million XP just for these kudzu threads. It's just insane. So this is where tailoring or clothcraft really, really, really gets a boost. So those first 4 levels of struggle, once you hit here, you're really, really rewarded. So let's look at the others just in case. We have a Turban of Crafting, a Long Sash of Scouting, and a Gambeson. And let me show you why you don't want to do this one. Of Healing. So, yeah, who in their right mind would do this? I just don't understand why they even put this one in the game and similar ones in the game. Like, these are so many materials. I don't know if you're aware, but Dawn Surges are worth an absolute fortune on my server because they take worsted yarn, and worsted yarn takes Manzasiri mains and Halgai mains, or Manzasiri hair and Halgai mains. I always get those two mixed up. So this craft probably costs like 150k to make or something ridiculous like that. So like stay the hell away from these is what I'm trying to say. And it's the same up here. Twin Silk is also almost as expensive, and a lot of the Twin Silk ones also take worsted yarn. So let's look at Twin Silk Apron. None here, but it takes 2 Twin Silk and a Twin Thread and a Palladium Nugget. So like really skip these, do kudzu thread all the way to 70 and you're set. So it's dancing time. That's about it for Clothcraft. I'm just going to wrap it up here and kind of do a summary of everything we went through again, just so you don't have to watch the whole thing if you want to skip to the end. But the first thing, as always, 60 to 61 is incredibly difficult if you don't have the gear already. So that may be a struggle, but once you struggle through it, grinding blood, hemp, and yarn or something similar, at 61 you can buy no quality vendor set from Kugain or anything like that. And once you have that, you're set. Just craft your way up to 64 with a mix of blood, hemp, and yarn and Grand Company turn-ins and all that sort of thing. And once you hit 64, kudzu thread until the end of time, and that is it. That is the entire cloth crafting leveling experience. So yeah, if this video helped you out, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, that sort of thing. And if it didn't, downvote it and let me know why. I just really appreciate you telling me. Anyway, thank you so much. Have a great day. See y'all next time.